Hi, my name's Allison Newman. This is my presentation over a case study involving parental apathy. The first part when you're doing a case study is to figure out what do we know. And some things that I made note of was the fact that Mrs. Rose, which she's new to the assistant principal position in a high school, she's aware of the importance of the relationship between the school and the community. Um, Even though the principal is a little bit disgruntled about this topic, he's given her the go-ahead to make an effort to promote parental involvement. They distributed a note to students at the end of school one day about a parent meeting, and only 8 parents showed up to that meeting. And now we're at a point where the principal, Mrs. Rose, has to decide whether or not to go ahead with the meeting or they could fold. Some additional things I would like to know is, in the case study, it said that the principal felt a pulse for the community, and I would like to know where that came from. Does he have any sort of evidence to back that up? Um, I would like to know why he feels that way. I would like to know why they communicated the message the way they did. I felt like giving a note to students at the end of the day is going to be, it's not really the best way to communicate with parents in this instance. The third thing of what I need to know is the principal going to allow Mrs. Rose to continue her efforts? It seems like she's pretty passionate about this. Is this something that she can be in charge of? Because this would be, I think, a great time for her to kind of step up and show the principal that things can change. The overall problem at John F. Kennedy High School is that there's little to no parental involvement. But the other problem that needs to be addressed is the poor attitude of the principal. I think that Mrs. Rose has to continue to fight for change to show the principal that things can change and they can change for the better. This was the plan of action that I came up with. I think that Mrs. Rose should continue with the meeting. I think in this meeting they should talk about how to get parents more involved, what made those parents want to come there that night, why do they think other parents did not come, and is the meeting time a problem? Is there some sort of conflict that they could work with? I think they should try again communicating in a different way. Like I said before, I don't think they communicated this in the best way. I think they should talk, maybe put an ad out in the radio, newspaper, social media, word of mouth. I think good news will travel. At our school, we're able to do an all call where the principal can put out a message and it will call each family and leave that message. So I was wondering if this is a school that could do that as well. And then I think that they need to give the parents an opportunity to take ownership of this. Maybe, I don't know if there should be a board. I mean, I know this is already kind of advisory board, but should there be like a president and vice president and so on? Some strategies used to implement the plan. I talked about continuing the meeting, shows that the parents that were present that this is something that is important to them. If they just tell them to go home, it obviously shows to them that the parents there weren't important. Involving them in future decision also gives them ownership. Communicating through students is not the best way to get a message home. These new strategies could create a better turnout for the high school, and giving the opportunity for leadership to these parents can create positive relationships within not only the parental advisory, but also with the school. I think this plan promotes the success of all students because increasing parent involvement of any kind is not going to hurt anything about the students. It can only help in the success. And giving them opportunities to attend a meeting, so using various forms of communication, that's going to help some more students because it's going to get more parents involved. And those 8 parents who showed up, they need to know that they're important. It's going to help build positive relationships between school and families. And I mean, those 8 parents can tell 8 more parents, hey, it was pretty cool what the principal and the assistant principal did here. So I just think it's really important for Mrs. Rose to continue her efforts here. As I was reading this, I was thinking that it's pretty similar to the school in which I teach now. We have had some problems with parental involvement, but it has improved a lot over the past couple years. I was feeling empathy for Mrs. Rose. I think we've all been in a position where we felt really passionate about something, we believed in something that we really thought was right, and sometimes we find that people around us aren't supporting us. And it made me start to think about the reasons that I think parents find it difficult to get involved with the school, and I was trying to figure out a way around that, whether it's the shifts that they work or the kids they have at home that take care of and babysitting and things like that. I think that should be taken into account when you're trying to schedule meetings like this. Some issues that are still unresolved. What is going to be the purpose of this advisory board? I know we want parental involvement, but how are they going to be involved? Can they create a vision, a mission, some goals? Is the principal going to continue to show his disbelief in this cause, or is he going to allow Mrs. Rose the freedom to keep experimenting? Because she obviously wants to improve this aspect of the school. And what will the final communication plan be? Good communication can lead to positive relationships, and really this is what Mrs. Rose is trying to do, is create a lot more positive relationships between the school and its community. Standard 4 states that the building level administrator is an educational leader who promotes the success of all students by collaborating with families and community members, responding to the diverse community needs and interests, and mobilizing community resources. 2 ways that this shows about the collaboration with families and community members. It allows families to create this advisory board no matter how small that board is. It gives the school an opportunity to hear the parents' voice. And getting their input through collaboration will give their parents a feeling of ownership in the school where their student attends. This responds to the diverse needs and the interests of the community because the communication plan supports this. It responds to the many ways members in the community can receive the news, and varying the meeting times could help more people in the community become more involved. It also provides a variety of opportunities for community groups. The creation of this advisory board gives parents the opportunity to give their input, and it gets them involved in their students' education. Families, I think, need to know that teachers are super important, but without the help of the families, the student is never going to reach their highest potential. And that's all I have. Thank you for listening.